Hello and welcome to the magic of fishing. Today you join me on a stunning summer's day back on the banks of Warren Pond, which is owned by Farnham Angling Society. You may remember I was on here for the first time a couple of months back in spring and had a brilliant session with some really big slabs gracing the net, but I was really blown away by the beauty of the place. It's a glorious estate lake, one of a series actually of dammed estate lakes running down a deeply wooded valley, and it really is a special place to fish. I'm not ashamed to admit I've had the shakes today as I was tackling up. Really felt like a kid again, so desperate to get fishing, but more just enjoy the surroundings because it is a really warm, clear, bright June day. We're not quite in the river season yet. I'm itching to get back on the rivers, but we're not quite able to do that. But what a place to while away another weekend. An absolutely brilliant blue day, and we've got a bit of a breeze down this end. I'm trying a different peg today, a couple up from where I first tried, and I've no idea if the fishing is going to be as good today. Might have to wait till it gets a bit later with the bright conditions, but I've had a look round and yeah, it really is a scenic place to fish. Fantastic woodland and some lovely foxgloves out in their full show. Now we're into June, so I've had a week's holiday. Also had a bit of a angry session at the barber's, so cannot wait to get fishing again. And today we're going to try for those slabs again. Got the same kind of ground bait I brought with me on a recent session. You might remember a week or so ago I tried for big bream on another of Farnham's waters. Didn't manage many that day, but did manage a whopper of £7 plus, so anything like that today would be very welcome. Check that out for a summer sky. And now the trees are in their full green splendour, the deciduous ones anyway. Plenty of pines in this woodland too. You can see the path up there and some simple steps cut down to this wide open peg. There you can see some yellow flag iris still giving it everything, and the kinds of really significant snags that litter this ancient lake, particularly on the far bank where there's lots of overhanging vegetation and no pegs. But even on this bank there's plenty of natural debris in the water, and that looks really carpy. There are plenty of carp in here, I believe, so I've got a sleeper rod out on the right, a bit like I did last time, although I had no action on it last time. It's always nice to have that chance. And yeah, you can see the jungle that's on the far bank. And here you can see the really rich salmon-based ground bait I've got a lot of faith in for bream. Not the only mix I use, but loads of pellet running through that, a bit of corn, and we'll use a really simple cage feeder rig to get that out. We've got the ground bait on the dry side, very oily, but in terms of water, very dry. You can really pack it in there tight, and once it hits the water it'll explode out near the hook bait. That really did not take long. Third cast. It looks like, despite these really bright, warm conditions, the bream of Warren Pond might just be obliging again. And if that's the case, it's going to become a favourite haunt of mine. Lovely pull round on the tip. Sometimes when you get to that third stage you think, perhaps it's not to be today, it's going to be a bit quieter, but Feeder wasn't in for long. That double corn bait on the bait spike, and it pulled around really confidently, and we've got ourselves a lovely golden bream. Well, what a start. He's got a bit of a nick in his tail, but otherwise an absolutely prime slab. Probably 4.5 pound. Really nice fish. What a start to this summer session. Well, that just confirmed I was right to get the shakes as I was setting up. Nothing too dramatic, but just that little tremble you get sometimes when your fingers won't quite do what you want them to do as fast as you want them to do it. But this is how simple the fishing is. Got a 3-inch hook length of 7 pound bottom down to a strong size 14 forged barbless hook, bait spike on that, and a couple of grains of corn. Then I've got another inch or two of boom, twizzled boom out from the feeder, which is on a sliding feeder link, about a 30 gram feeder. Simple as that. So let's get back out. And we've got our second. Very next cast, didn't have to wait too long. And good, slow and steady, rather than scintillating scrap, but it's another real lump. Oof. I think this one could be a bit bigger. Even in this extra large carp size net, it's a big slab. Well, I've got to say, when I mixed up that super smelly ground bait for the second time in a week or so, this is exactly the kind of fish I had in mind. Another lump of a bream, well over 5 pound this one. Really thick set fish, big shoulders on him. Looks magnificent in the sunlight, but let's get him back. Well, what a start. Giving it a good 10 or 15 minutes each chuck, but that's 4 casts, 2 fish, knocking on 10 pound. And although the trembles as I set up told me that I was full of anticipation, I perhaps didn't expect such a good start as this. So let's get back out. And let's just say I am yet to see a skimmer in this place. These are proper slabs. As always, got my consistent far bank marker and we're clipped up so we're hitting the same spot. And there is a bit of weed around, so I know that it's a relatively clear spot that I'm on, and certainly know the fish are feeding on it now. Just tighten up gently to it. Whoa! There's another cracking bite. The fish just rolled right on the surface, showing how shallow it is. Only about 3 foot deep out there. Actually had to wait a couple of casts for this one, and just tried a wafter neutral buoyancy pellet. Big one, 8mm, pink in colour, and it didn't take long for that to go around. Just keep it away from those snags. Not that it's making a run for them, but just kiting that way. Another solid fish. Just reach for the net. Here he comes. Safe and sound. Oh, another heavy fish. They always tend to fight hardest in the net. And there you can see the remains of the pellet, as well as a bit of sweet corn from the previous fish. Let's put them straight back. See how clear that water is. Off he goes under the rod. There you can see a bit of the fine pondweed that sometimes comes back on the feed. It did on that occasion, but not too much of it. I think I've got a decent spot out there. And I'm not here to promote anyone or anything apart from fishing, but did the trick this time. Oh, the sun really is beating down now from high in the sky. We're only 2 or 3 weeks off the summer solstice, the longest day, and summer really is in full swing now. Feels like I'm still on holiday, to be honest. It's supposed to hit 23, 24 today, and I think that must be about now. Just a touch of breeze remaining, but it's almost flat now, the lake, and while it's glorious to sit in for us humans, this to the fish is a bit like a cold shower for us. It's meant the bites are taking much longer to come. They are still coming, but I'm expecting each cast now to last 15-20 minutes maybe before I get an indication, and it wouldn't surprise me if I go an hour or two without much action, because it really is mid-afternoon, mad dogs and Englishmen territory now. I'm certainly not complaining, but yeah, even in a a shallow lake like this, with the fish are used to bright conditions, I think it's going to knock the fishing on the head a little bit. So it's fantastic to get that action-packed start in, and we'll perhaps expect a bit of a quieter period now. Maybe it'll pick up again as the sun sinks a bit lower. Well folks, what an absolute scorcher. I've been sat out in it for the last 2 hours and the tip has barely moved. I've actually retreated into the shade of the woodland behind the peg to record this, take a little break. I think it's going to be another couple of hours until the fish are in the feeding mood again, and you know me, love my fishing. Would normally be more than happy to sit it out, but there are a couple of things at home on a baking hot Sunday afternoon like this that can tempt me away from the water. One's beers and another is barbecue. Summer is here and it won't be long till I'm back on the rivers. Can't wait for that. In the meantime, I really hope you've enjoyed this session. Really hectic start, and I think when I set off this morning I would have been very happy with those bream in the net. So I hope you've enjoyed it too. As always, if you're not already in the club, come on, hit that button. It only takes a second and it really does mean a lot. For those of you already in the club, your support is massively appreciated as always. Please give it a like and share with your mates, and I'll see you again before long on the bank.